Hi, welcome back to AutoReview. My name is Patrick and today I have the pleasure to present you the Ford Fiesta ST2 Mark 8. So here we have the latest edition of the Ford Fiesta with the ST badge on it, which you'll find obviously in the front and the back as well as on the steering wheel. And we have here the most powerful Fiesta that you can buy up to date. So we have a 1.5 liter 3-cylinder engine. Yes, you heard me right, it's a 3-cylinder engine. And there's another gimmick that I'll tell you. When you drive it economically, it actually will turn off one of the 3 cylinders and it will run on 2 cylinders to be more fuel efficient. So that's a burner. Second burner is it produces 200 horsepower at 6,000 RPM and a maximum torque of 290 Newton meters between 1,600 and 4,000 RPM. 0 to 100 in 6.5 seconds, top speed 232 kilometers an hour for a pocket rocket like this. We have a 42 liter fuel tank and the fuel consumption so far, actually drove it only yesterday, I'm gonna have it another 3 days. So I'll update the fuel figures on the top right. However, at the moment we have it between 5.9 to 6.5 liters, which should give you at least 700 kilometers. However, we will do a fuel efficient run and I'll tell you what was the lowest that I achieved. What else? We have 136 grams of CO2 and we have the Euro 6D temp emission standard, which should be safe for you to drive into city centers all across Europe for the next few years at least. As usual, I'll show you the car from the first row, second row, the boot, and then we'll drive. Outside you have seen already. In Switzerland we have two versions. We have the ST2 or we have the ST and the ST Plus. The difference is really in the equipment and the extras on board. So with the ST, pretty much everything costs extra, which is unfortunately a shame. And I'll tell you a little bit the list later on. Therefore, if you'd like to have all the gimmicks, you have to go for the ST Plus and still pay additional. For example, for the headlights, which are only halogen by default, which is very bad in my opinion, but what to do? At least you have an option to upgrade to full LED headlights for 1,250 Swiss francs, which I highly recommend. But nevertheless, that's it for the car for now. We'll hop in because it's cold outside. And before we do that, thank you very much Elite Auto Center in Wilderswil, which are located right over there, who provided this car to me. You'll find a link in the description. And prices for the car, sorry I forgot, would be starting at 26,950 Swiss francs for the ST and 29,100, I hope I have it correct, for the ST Plus. And one more thing for me, please subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you're informed about every new video, and now let's hop into the car before I freeze my ears off. Let's go. Alright, so the Fiesta ST from inside, and obviously it looks very similar to the Fiesta 1.0 Ecoboost that we tested, so I'll pretty much go only into the details that changed here, and you can check out the other video if you'd like to have more details. But quickly we go through. So we have electric windows in the front. In the ST version, the rear electric windows cost 250 or 200 francs extra, which again is something I don't understand, but okay. Then close the doors. On the left side we have automatic lights, which work very good, I have to say. But again, these are halogen lights, so I do recommend you pay the 1,250 extra and get the full LED headlights. Honestly, you have to do that. One little detail I really love is that you can actually dim the interior lights, so you can make it brighter or darker. This is quick. I love that there is a physical button for that and you don't have to go through some sub-menu and so ever. Steering wheel you can adjust and reach and rake, which is very good. Then one thing that I don't understand, we have here lane departure assistant, which is an active one. It warns you or helps and warns you. However, the button is here in the blinker, which is kind of weird. I would put it actually somewhere on the dashboard or somewhere in the middle console. Then steering wheel is nice and thick. We have this blue stitching here, which goes as well through the seat, and as well we have this blue line in the seat belt, which is really nice. Love that detail. So the plastic here actually looks like carbon, and it actually looks really good like carbon. It's a lot of carbon fake interior things look very bad, but this one looks really nice. It actually looks like real carbon fiber, which is a nice touch. It isn't, obviously. Then we have the thick steering wheel with the shortcut buttons for volume, speed limiter, cruise control, start at 30 kilometers an hour, which is great. Thumbs up for that. And as well going through the border computer here, which you can configure as well the way you like, plus phone call and going to next station or track. ST logo on the bottom, and I like that it's very thick and it's kind of, yeah, soft. I like it. It's really nice. Obviously, it's a manual, 6-speed manual. Reverse gear is towards you and to the front. Then we have a 6.5-inch navigation screen. Obviously it looks super big, but actually you see the screen is very small. You can opt for an 8.5-inch, yes, 8.5-inch for additional 500 Swiss francs, which looks obviously a little bit nicer because it has more real estate, right? You have shortcut buttons here, you have physical knobs to tune and the volume, which I love, always great. Then hazard lights, ventilation left, right, and so on. And on the middle we have an air condition, automatic air condition cost again extra. We have heated seats, which cost extra in 3 settings. However, what I discovered is in level 3 or setting 3 is super hot, very quick. 2 you feel a little, and 1 I don't feel nothing at all. Maybe because it's so cold outside that actually you don't feel it. Obviously in spring and autumn maybe it's going to be different. Then we have compartment here which shows that it's charging, it can charge. No, it's for the key, but I'm not quite sure what you do, if you can charge the key over that or not. However, it has no wireless charging. Why you see this cable here is because the car doesn't come with navigation, but however, once you plug it in, let me just see, Apple CarPlay, then you have your phone navigation through your provider. And what I love as well here is you don't have only Maps, but you have Google Maps, so you can choose. And I love Google Maps, I don't like Maps. I don't know why, but this is the way it is. Then the 6-speed manual, as I mentioned, super short shiftings. I really like it. Makes a lot of fun. Manual handbrake, which is great. Little compartment here. Then the mode button to change between a normal, sport, and a Rennstrecke, racetrack, is a little bit stupid located, in my opinion, next to the handbrake. So if it's down, you have to kind of search for it. Then ESC off, start, stop, on and off. A little compartment for a credit card or like a ticket when you go in the garage. 3.5 cup holders, which are great with some spacers. Then again, USB port, 12-volt power socket here. Another USB port for the back passengers. And another cup holder as well as pen holder. Then the seats are amazing. I personally owned a Ford Focus ST2 in Dubai when I was living there. You'll find the video online as well. I'm just going to link it in the top right. And I had seats similar to this. However, these seem even better, I have to say. They give you a lot of side support. However, if you're a little bit bigger person, I'm not small either, you might find it a little bit too tight. However, I love them. What is nice as well, that the headrests actually are extendable here, so they are not fixed. It's not one piece, it's actually headrest and seat. Then we have a manual mirror, which is great. We have LED lights, interior lights, which is awesome. I love it. Mirror with illumination for driver and passenger, for glasses, and glove box actually is decent size as well, with a separate compartment for the manual, as well as airbag on-off for the passenger in case you take your child with you later on. Now, that's pretty much it for the front. Let's hop in the back and see how much space we have there. Alright, so the Fiesta ST, we have obviously the 5-door version here, which costs 500 francs extra, or you get the 3-door version, 500 Swiss francs less expensive. In the back, in the 5-door, I'm 1.84 m tall, and the seat in front is adjusted to me. I'm sitting straight here and I have 2 fingers space for my head. However, it's a little bit uncomfortable because of the bottom of the headrest, which is exactly here in my back. Well, I don't know, I would have to lounge kind of here to sit comfortably. Seat, however, is comfortable. I have plenty of leg room. Again, 1.5, 2 fingers wide. We have only hooks. We have no handles whatsoever in the entire car. We have a little compartment for 0.5 liter bottles or small stuff. In the back side of the front seat, we have pockets for magazines and small things, mini toys, to open the door. And then, believe it or not, can you see what I'm doing? It's a manual window in 2019. And the window doesn't shut all the way to the bottom. So a huge part, actually, 1/3 is still open. Again, this is how the door is designed, but I don't understand why you still have manual windows in 2019. You can get electric windows in the back, however, you have to pay a premium. Okay, now headrest, I mentioned headrest in the middle, which goes actually higher, so I think I would be more comfortable here than there. Transmission tunnel is this wide and this high. You can obviously reach the USB port here and the cup holder in the middle. And we have a light here, which actually you can turn on or off. It's just on, I guess, when you open the the doors. And one thing that my passenger told me, when you buckle up here, this one is pretty close to your neck and it kind of cuts into your neck. So you have to constantly like put it down or do something with it because of where it's attached. Just keep that in mind if you have taller persons there. However, space-wise, it's good. Let's check the boot. All right, coming to the rear of the car, but before we go there, let's just look at the fuel cap, because this is something I really love, and I would wish that every car manufacturer does that, because Ford is the only one who has the easy fuel cap. Basically, it doesn't have a cap. You just put it in and basically you don't forget it anywhere at the gas station, which is great. I love it. It's so easy. Why no one else has it? And obviously it locks when you lock the car as well, so no one can put stuff inside. But that's it. Okay, coming back to the car. It looks a little bit more aggressive than the other trim levels. The only one that looks very similar is the ST line, obviously, which looks like an ST, but doesn't have the performance of it. Here we have the roof spoiler, which extends over the roof line. Obviously it goes a little bit up with the third brake light. We have obviously tinted windows from the B-pillar around in the back, wiper in the middle. Then I don't know why, but a lot of people complained about the rear lights and the look of the car, but I actually really like it. I love the 3D lights which come a little bit out. The blinkers are a little bit more inside, red and white, no orange. Then we have no reverse camera on this particular car. However, you can get it if you pay extra. Then we have parking sensors in the back. However, in the front you can't get them, and those cost extra as well. We have like a splitter in the back and a dual exhaust, which is great. So this is really one of the things that I love about this car. It just sounds so nice. For a 3-cylinder engine, it produces amazing sound, I have to say. Now, that's pretty much it for the back. Now, we have obviously the boot. Let's open it up. It's a manual boot. Opens high enough, which is good. So I'm 184 tall. Obviously, I fit below that. You have 2 handles here to basically close it again. Cover for the boot, so no one can look inside what's there. And then you have 292 liters if you keep the seats up. And if you fold them down, which is 1/3, 2/3, you get 1093 liters. However, if you fold them down, the seats are not fully flat, so you have quite a big step in case you put something in. Just keep that in mind. You have an option of double floor, which costs extra again. And below that, if I take out my Phantom here, you have basically just a compressor kit, and that's it. So there's no spare wheel whatsoever here. Hook left and right, little light, a little bit small compartment to put small things, and you get a little 1 liter oil or half liter oil with it, and that's it. Don't get scared, it's gonna make a noise now. It just needs a little bit oil, I guess, in the dampers. All right, so let's hop in and now we're gonna drive. All right, it's 3 days later for you guys. No, it's 3 days later for me, and it's a few seconds for you. And I drove the car for the past 4 days now, and we're gonna return it later on today. But obviously the driving part is missing, which we're doing now. Now, what can I tell you about the car? How is it to live with for me it's a short time, but I could actually get some insight into the car. Okay, so there are some points which are really great, there's some points which I don't understand why, and some you have to arrange yourself, or it pretty much depends on how are you built, right? Okay, let's start with the good points. Let's start with the fuel consumption, because I actually tested this for you. So the lowest I was able to achieve was 4.4 liters in the fuel economy run between Interlaken and Bern, which is what I always do with every car pretty much. So we have anything between 4.4 to now 6.5, again let's say 6.6 liters. And this is with driving fast. I just drove up the mountain. This is with driving fuel economically, and this is driving like an average person, right? So 6.6 liters is what I achieved. And 4.4 is a pretty good thing, I have to say. Now it has the ability to turn off one of the 3 cylinders when driving on the highway, or basically driving very economically. However, it doesn't show you anything in the dashboard. It doesn't indicate anyhow, which is a shame, because I would love for the car to tell you or me, okay, hey, I just turned off the cylinder, because you don't feel it at all. Yeah, and obviously the fuel consumption proves that somehow it's working. To what extent, I can't tell you. Then another thing I love is the sound. Yeah, we're gonna put it in sport in a moment when we're gonna get out of town basically and have a little part of 80 and 100 kilometers on the highway, and I'm gonna accelerate through, so you're gonna hear it. The sound is really, really good. If you drive in the normal mode, which you can obviously switch the modes here, it's normal. You hear it a little bit, right? You hear more the 3-cylinder rather than the exhaust note. However, if you switch it to sport or racetrack, Rennstrecke, then it's a totally different game. And depends on how high you rev it. If you go off the gas, it basically pops and rumbles kind of in the exhaust, which is a really nice thing. In addition, what Ford is doing, and that was the case with my Ford ST that I own in Dubai as well, is that it artificially enhances the sound, that's the word, enhances the sound through the speakers. However, I have to say, it sounds really nice here, and to be honest, with all the problems that you have with tuning in Europe, especially in Germany and Switzerland and Austria, I think this is where the trend is going for small cars like this. Basically, it makes sound outside, but it makes sound inside as well for the driver, right? Without too much annoying your neighbors and everyone around you. And I guess this is where it's going. Artificial sound actuators, whatever you want to call it. It sounds nice, I have to say. And the exhaust is nice as well. Let's just put it in race mode. And just be aware now. I don't think you can hear it, but it's really nice. So if you're interested in this car, please try it out, because it does sound really, really nice. And you hear it in the back, the exhaust. Let's put it back to sport, because if you put it in racetrack, it turns off the ESP. And obviously we have winter tires. Temperature is, it's kind of warm, 8 degrees in the sun, but just now it was 3 because I was up the mountain. We don't want to risk anything, right? Steering is super nice. And then we come to the things that I would like to see improved. Well, it's a recommendation from my side to you, right? The seats are really good. However, if I remember my Ford Focus ST, which was the 3rd generation, not the latest one, but the one before, the seats were not as tight as these ones. Now I drove the car for the past 5 days, and my upper legs or my hip hurts really a lot, because okay, I'm not thin, but I'm not fat either. And if you're someone who is a little bit wider, I mean, on top is amazing, yeah? And it gives you so much side support, which is great. But driving it on the highway, and I drove it over 570 kilometers in these days, it does start hurting already. And I feel it every time I get in the car, or I get out of the car after driving it for half an hour, 1 hour, it really hurts me on my legs. And again, so if you're someone who is a little bit bigger, just drive the car a little bit longer before you decide to buy it, because it might hurt a lot for you and you don't want to make a wrong decision, right? How about we put it in race mode again, and we slow down a little bit. Can't go too low because it's and now let's accelerate. It's really nice. I really like it. Okay. So yeah, keep that in mind with the seats, because it is something when you have a rather wide back side, let's say like this, and larger legs like I have, for example, it might not be the car for you. With my Focus ST, it was not like that. I'm not quite sure if the seats, they look different from before. That's one thing you have to keep in mind. Another thing I really don't understand is, okay, I get it that obviously the car manufacturer wants to make some money, right? And if you want the nice extras, you have to pay on top of them or a premium for it. But this is the top of the line Fiesta. and it comes standard with halogen lights, and this is something I really don't understand. It's not a point of making money. LED lights today or nowadays are not expensive anymore. I have it on my 125 bike, which is a Honda MSX 125, and that thing costs 3,500. This car costs regular price 27,000 starting, and you still don't get LED lights, which is something I just can't understand. I'm really sorry. Now it's Ford, but I see it across the range in all different models and car manufacturers. They just charge you premium for LED, and LED light, in my opinion, is something like ABS, ESP. It should be standard stock by government. If you want to release a car on the market, it has to have LED lights, because halogen is just not good. And these lights, they aren't good at all. I have to say it. Obviously, you feel and you see that I have a lot of hate against halogen lights. I understand that they are more cost effective if you have to replace them or if something breaks. But to be honest, have you heard from anyone so far that the LED lights actually broke? I have not. And even xenon lights before, the technology before, which is still some kind of manufacturers use it, there it's years before you have to replace them. LED will last longer than the car will live, most probably. And that's a fact, right? So I don't understand why they don't put it in. Another thing is, pretty much everything you have to pay premium in this car. So you want a bigger screen, you pay extra. You want heated seats, you pay extra. You want a reverse camera, you pay extra. You want reverse parking sensors, you pay extra. Front, you can't get even. So you see, there's a lot of small things that make the car, which is by default great. The engine is awesome, the transmission is nice, it's super nice to shift. Honestly, I love the engine. Even though it's a 3-cylinder, a lot of people hate 3 cylinders. This is a great engine. Really, it's a great engine and works super nice. You have the low RPM torque at 1,600 RPM starting up to 4,000. 200 horsepower is more than enough. It actually has enough space for 4 people. Boot, okay. You know it when you buy the car, right? But all the little things you pay extra: blind spot assistant, reverse camera, LED lights, and this is something that basically is like a little bit too much salt in the soup to make it a great car. Because if it would come with a lot of things on board, I could live with it. But once you actually start equipping the car with nice gimmicks, it costs you more than 30,000 francs, which is quite a lot of money for still to be considered a city car, right? I mean, it's not a small car, it's not a micro car, but it's a city car. Yes, you have 200 horsepower, but taking this into consideration. Build quality is good. I couldn't find anything that I didn't like. Material-wise, yes, obviously you have hard plastic pretty much everywhere here. Here a little bit soft touch on top, but everything else is hard plastic. I do like the not real carbon fiber, the artificial carbon fiber, let's call it this way, because it really looks very similar and it's nice. It's a nice touch here, and you have it around the gearbox knob as well. Overall, it's a nice, great little pocket rocket. But keep in mind these figures, and again I mentioned, you have to take LED lights. In my opinion, it's 2019. You can't go with halogen lights. It's not a good light, and it looks really shitty, I have to say. And be aware about the seats. Check them out. Don't just sit inside for 5 minutes at the dealership. Drive the car for an hour if you have the possibility before you decide to buy it. Because I'm telling you, if you're a bigger person, it might really hurt you. I had no back pain whatsoever in this car, but I had the pain in my legs because it's just so tight and you can't adjust it in any way, right? That's pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It was informative for you. Navigation, as I mentioned as well before, goes through the phone, which is good. It saves you some money at least, right? If you start equipping the car with a lot of things. And again, if you're looking into getting pretty much all the nice amenities, get the ST Plus and still get the LED lights, because you can't get them there in stock either. That's it. Thank you much, Elite Auto Center in Wilderswil, who provided this car to me. And I wish you a great day. Please subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you're informed about every new video. And I'm looking forward to see you in the next one. Cheers. Bye.